Hey, this is Ryan Ballheimer, Ryan Ballheimer Landscape Design. And if you want to learn the 6 and 7-figure science to success, significantly increase your revenue, and learn how to successfully build professional relationships, you should be listening to the Sell Without Selling podcast with my great friend, Stacey O'Byrne.
If you're ready to get out of your own way to follow the 7-figure science of success, then welcome to Sell Without Selling. Tune in with renowned international speaker Stacey O'Byrne as she shows you how mastering relationships, achieving the proper mindset, and attaining the necessary motivation will catapult you away from failure and onto your journey to greatness. And now, here is your host, Stacey O'Byrne.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Sell Without Selling. I'm your host, Stacey O'Byrne, and I believe that learning the art and the science of how to sell without selling is the only way to achieve high 6 and 7-figure success. Today, I'm speaking with a really good friend of mine, Ryan Ballheimer. Ryan graduated with a degree in finance from St. Louis University and began working for an investment firm as a stockbroker and ultimately a bond trader. While the job was stable and seemed like a path he was supposed to travel, his true passion, landscape design, was born at an early age, and his side business was something he just couldn't resist exploring full-time when a firm-wide layout resulted from an acquisition. Today, Ryan runs a landscape design and build firm, and he now gets to live his dream of building something that aligns with his true desires. I believe that learning the art and the science of how to sell without selling is the only way to achieve high 6 and 7-figure success. I am so excited for you to hear my conversation today with Ryan. And really quick, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, sales professional, and you haven't hit the level of success that you've wanted or needed, or if you're stuck and needing a pivot in your business and your success, or you just want more and you understand the importance of having a coach to help identify the blind spots, increase accountability, and help with success strategies to take you, your business, your income, and your success to the next level. If this sounds like something for you, then head over to pivotpointadvantage.com/I want success. That's pivotpointadvantage.com/I want success. There's a quick application there that will lead to a personal phone call with me to see if we're a great fit for each other. Okay, let's do this. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Oh, I am so blessed you're here. I know how crazy your landscaping business is right now. I also know you've gotten into the pool business now. We'll get into all that in a little bit. I just appreciate you coming on board because I know what your schedule looks like.
Thank you. Thank you. Very excited to be here.
So I'm really interested in our listeners really understanding this transition you made. So I'd like to talk about some things you referenced in your introduction. So you went to school and pursued an education and a career in finance because that's what you thought you were supposed to do. Now, I know a lot of professionals find themselves in careers or jobs doing what it is they thought they were supposed to do. What took you down that path to begin with?
I was really interested in architecture in high school. I went to a great private high school in St. Louis, and I had the privilege of taking some architecture classes, and I loved it. It was really what I thought my dream was. Mm-hmm. I'm very close with my mom. My mom is probably my biggest influencer, the number one person I model. And, her advice to me when I graduated or when I was going, to school was, I don't think you're going to make any money doing that, in architecture. I think you should major in business. I think you're going to be, you're going to set yourself up for success a lot better. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting looking back, seeing that comment, seeing the pattern. Wow. I mean, I pivoted all my goals based on one comment. And
wow.
It took me down a path that I'm grateful I went there. I wish I would have explored the other opportunity. However, I know, that path I took led me to where I am today. Mm-hmm. So I know the stars aligned for me that way.
Mm-hmm. So being a stockbroker, being a bond trader, you were involved in that arena during a pretty volatile time in the market, weren't you?
It was. I mean, it was definitely, yeah. I mean, in that 20 years, there was just ups and downs, craziness, market fluctuations, and the sector I was in, which was a discount brokerage firm, was exploding. Everybody was going to online trading, and everybody, that's what we did. We were an online broker.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all self-directed accounts. However, with that came a lot of work behind the scenes and a lot of dealing. I dealt with clients directly for the first part of my career. And the latter part, I was more behind the scenes, just dealing with, the bonds and securities for our clients.
Yeah. So what was something that you really liked about having your job and having that job?
It was really safe and secure. I'm a very conservative person.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was predictable. I knew there was a lot of stability. I liked the people I work with. We were a really close knit crew, and that was something I really gained, from that. We looked out for one another. We really had our own little tribe within a gigantic conglomerate. Our company was gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something I really respected that my managers built for us.
Nice. So being safe and conservative and secure and having a predictable environment was something you liked. What was something you disliked about that? Because 20 years in a job is a long time.
It was, my heart was just never in it. And I kept going back to, from the outside in, and I do this all the time. I look at people and I say, wow, they really have it all. Mm-hmm. And, from the outside in, I think people really thought that. I mean, I wasn't extremely wealthy. I never made tons of money, but I really had a content life and I was happy. I just never got that feeling of, I just never loved my work. Work was work. And I always thought, wow, is there something wrong with that? Like, shouldn't I really love my job? Shouldn't my passion align with my job? And it didn't. However, I had boatloads of vacation. I mean, I was off all the time, paid vacation. I had perks out the wazoo, and it was awesome. And really, I kind of dug my own grave. It was a very low stress, easy job. And I got comfortable, and I was lucky that we didn't have a lot of stress in my department. I knew how to do the job really well. I could do it in my sleep. And, that was a double-edged sword. It was, wow, I'm not challenging myself and I'm not growing at all. Mm-hmm. However, life is pretty darn easy. At 4:00 when I clock out, like, I'm donezo. There's nothing I have to think about for the next day. Mm-hmm. I can be with my family, my friends, and have my hobbies. And that's what I thought. Okay, well, maybe this is as good as it gets.
That's a great comment. As good as it gets. When did you decide that it can be better and as good as it gets wasn't good enough? Because for a conservative person, and I've known you for a while, for a conservative person to sit there and analyze, I wonder if this is as good as it gets, and then accepts that it's not and takes that step outside of that. So what made this stockbroker, this bond trader, say enough is enough, I'm going to pursue my passion?
So that answer is kind of twofold. One, my landscape business was always a side business and a hobby. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. And I kind of built my own reality. I did build my own reality around the fact that if I landscape on weekends and my vacation time, and it brings me all this joy and happiness, which it did. And I did it myself. It was hard work. I did all the labor. I just remember loving it so much. I thought, well, maybe if I get my happiness from that, that is, and I got paid, I obviously got paid for it as well. Maybe if I gained some joy, if it filled my joy cup enough, and then I came back to work and had to, just endure my regular job to look forward to the next landscape job, maybe that was a great solution. And I really bought into it and thought, okay. And then life happened, kids happened. And I thought, I don't want to do this anymore on the weekends. I want to be with my family. However, as that was happening, I was landscaping, it started out little homes, little jobs, and then the jobs got bigger. And the next thing I know, I'm in multi-million-dollar gated neighborhoods with my junky little trailer and, my SUV. And it got to the point where I was like, wow, this is a real business, and I need to make a decision. And really, I ultimately decided it's too risky. I'm not going to do it. And then as our firm merged with another discount brokerage firm, we were a duplicate operation. So they didn't need two of everybody. So we got an email at, 5 a.m. one day, and it was, surprise, our company has been sold. Here's your severance package. It will take a year or two before this happens, but you're getting, it was a good amount of money that we were getting. And I just remember like jumping out of my seat saying, hallelujah, this is it. This is going to kick me out the door. I'm never doing this again. I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it, but I'm not coming back to finance ever again. And I really, I looked around and there was so much sadness in the building and so much despair. And I just thought, I don't really know how I'm going to get through this. And, my wife and I just built our dream house and we had babies at home. And I thought to myself, well, this is the worst time to do it. I should have done it when I was 30 and had no bills. However, I just thought, it's now or never. And I am not going to, I'm going to do something that makes me truly happy. And, my wife and I had the serious discussions, down to the nitty gritty about how, we'll sell the house, we'll move into an apartment, because I said, you know what, I am going to do what makes me happy. And that's it. And if it means us downsizing, living in an apartment, that's what we're willing to do. And we both agreed on it and said, wow, that's okay. If we need to buy a condo or what have you, we're obviously not going to sacrifice, we with babies, you've got non-negotiables, but we don't need a luxury home. We don't need luxury vacations. We don't need, we can live without luxuries to get to where I want to go. And maybe that's it. Maybe we just live there and I do something I love and I'm happy that way. And fast forward, we never moved and we never had to and never had to really worry about things. I just jumped in and said, I'm doing this. I want to give this a whirl. And to answer your question specifically about, the emotions, it was very difficult. I had a short stint at another landscape company for 11 months in between, and it was just not a good fit. I was constantly in conflict with people there. I was going to possibly be fired. I mean, I've never gotten in trouble at a job in my life or been in the principal's office. And here I am, there was so much conflict. I'm like, the writing's on the wall
Mm.
for me to leave. And my stepdad said, I talked to him and I said, I really think I'm going to get fired from this job. And it was low paying. And he said, why do you think you need this job? You don't need it. And if at your meeting tomorrow, if they don't fire you, shake his hand, the owner, and quit and say, thank you for everything you've given me and go do what you want to do. And I remember having that conversation. That was an hour-long conversation with my stepdad. And I just said, I just can't do it. I can't. I cannot do it. And he said, yes, you can. And that's what you know you want. So go after it. So the next day, that's exactly what happened. I met with the owner and, things were going to be smoothed over and fine. And I said, I know this isn't working out and I shouldn't be here, and that's okay. And I said, I'm going to leave. I'm quitting. And I think it's for the best for everybody. And I was terrified. I mean, I was absolutely terrified. And I can remember going home in the next few days and, I'm not a crier, zero judgment against criers. I'm just not a crier. And I lost it 3 times. I mean, just in the middle of breakfast with my kids and 2 other times. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I doing this? Did I make the wrong choice? I've got these beautiful blonde hair, blue-eyed babies hanging on me in the morning, and I'm thinking the worst. I'm not going to be able to provide for them. My wife is a school teacher. She can't pick up all the slack. And I was worried. And I just said, I'm just doing it. I'm going to make it work. And I did. I just kept plowing forward, and, I moved on from that place. And it was tough, but I had a great support system, and I just knew in my heart, that's what I wanted.
So a couple questions based off of what you just shared with us. When you were doing your side gig, your side hustle, your hobby of landscaping on the weekends, were you doing it for the money or for the joy?
It was definitely for the joy. Absolutely.
Nice. So then your wife, when you sat down and the two of you had that heart to heart about your living arrangements and the standard of living and how unhappy you were and you really wanted to pursue your passion, how easy or how hard was it for her to align with you taking that leap?
It was very easy. Jessica is my wife. She is very supportive. She didn't hesitate at all. She was 100% on board.
Why do you think that is? And I ask because so many entrepreneurs, so many direct sales people, so many solopreneurs, they struggle with getting that spousal support. The spouse needles them or digs at them or doesn't understand that they need to build, that doing of the do prevents revenue from coming in instantaneously like a job would. So there's that lack of understanding. Why do you think Jessica was so different than what most experience?
She believed in me more than I believed in myself.
Wow.
And Jess is as we know, a big chunker, little chunker. I like to just, I like to talk about everything in little pieces and dissect it and then dissect it again. She's the opposite. She's a big chunker and she makes decisions relatively fast.
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't need to talk about it and mull it over. And she, God love her, she's very low maintenance. She just doesn't require a lot of things and stuff. And I think in her mind, the only sacrifice was things and stuff. We don't need a luxury home. We need a family, and we need love and support. And we weren't giving that up.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very easy sell for her. And I'm a very lucky guy to be in that, because you're right. It's not the norm.
No, it's not. I know so many that I don't want to say get needled or absorb cheap shots. Those are the only verbs that I can think of, though, that, the spouse comes home and goes, oh, let me guess, you worked today, in air quotes. So where's your paycheck? And there's a lot of projecting of guilt, and then that holds the person back. And, you said something that's really important. She believed in you more than you believed in yourself. How did you trust that to borrow that belief and then step out on such a big ledge? Because you yourself said you like security, you like safety, you're very conservative, you like predictable environments. And let's face it, business ownership and entrepreneurism is far from any of that.
You know me very well. I overthink things, to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm.
And when you become an entrepreneur, my stepdad has been a great support person. One of his lines he said to me that just always stuck in my mind was, an entrepreneur is a lot like driving at night. You only can see as far as the headlights in front of your car. There's going to be turns and bends and whatever ahead, and you'll deal with those when you get there, and you don't need to see them right now. So that really landed with me and really allowed me to just stop and focus on the business I already had. I already built a business. I already had a business, and my business was already thriving, and it was already snowballing.
Oh, wow.
I had more work than I knew what to do with. It was either quit or sacrifice a lot of customers who really wanted, they wanted what I offered, my landscape services.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once I stepped back and allowed myself to just take a breath and realize I've already built the foundation. I don't need to build the whole house and have it roofed and landscaped and have the pool in. And that was very tough for me, because that's not how I think.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing has to be done and planned out and mapped out to the end. So the headlight metaphor really just allowed me, to step back and just say, okay, it's just one step at a time. And you already have a business going, and just embrace it and, and go with it.
Mm-hmm. It's an incredible metaphor. It actually reminds me of a conversation I had with a 15-year-old boy the other day. His name's Caden. And I'm going to do an episode on this conversation because it was so powerful. He came up to me and he goes, I just recently had a realization from a conversation him and I had a couple of weeks ago. And he goes, we're like t-shirts. And I looked at him and I said, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, we're like t-shirts. He said, when we're wrinkled, we can put it on an ironing board and we can iron the wrinkles out. Now, when we put it back on and then we take it off, if the same wrinkles are there, it's because we wore the shirt the same way. So we're all about, if we don't want wrinkles in the same place, if we want a different life, then we wear life differently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For a 15-year-old boy, that was well, for anybody, that was pretty deep. And that the metaphor of the headlights, that's absolutely what business ownership and entrepreneurism is all about. You know, we definitely cannot control our environment all the time. We can, however, control how we respond to our environment. So let's roll into the start of your business, the start of your entrepreneurism, the start of your business ownership. Why do you think it was so easy for you to build such a successful business so quickly?
When I started the business full time, I already had a part-time business and it was very much a hobby. So to call it a business, there was a lot of undoing of hobbiness to do. And that's the first thing you and I talked about the first time I met you.
Yep.
Was you made that comment about my business being a hobby and saying you're going to have to get out of that before it becomes a real business and you really move forward. And I said, she's 100% right. Yes. My goal with the business was one thing, and I wrote this down before we started because you know I'm a planner. My goal with this business was I was going to surrender to joy. Like this work, whatever I did, it was going to have to be joyful. And I knew if I did something that I truly loved and I surrendered myself to joy, I could serve clients easily. I would attract like-minded people and do something I love. And the process of selling consequently has been very easy because I know in my heart what my intentions are with my customers. And I know that gets communicated through them, however I show up, whatever energy I bring. And most of it, you know, is nonverbal. I mean, we know most communication is 93% nonverbal. And I realized that kind of what I was doing as I got going and as I realized how that mantra was really rolling into my sales. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does. I think, you know, what the big joke about entrepreneurism out there is, you know, an entrepreneur is someone who will work 80 hours a week to avoid a 40-hour-a-week job. And I think the only way that's possible is to truly be in your joy, because when you're in your joy, you're really not working. And for that to be your goal, you're always showing up, doing what you love to serve the needs of others. And that way you'll never have to sell. And, you know, Ryan's dropping a lot of knowledge in the background that you may or may not be picking up. Ryan is a student of our neurolinguistics programming trainings, as well as a friend and a coaching client. And Ryan brought up how his wife is a big chunker and he is a little chunker. What he's referring to is someone who communicates in large chunks. They will say an immense amount of information in one word. For someone who delivers communication in small chunks, they will say a little bit of information in a lot of words. So they'll tell you about 5 minutes of their day and it'll take them 20 minutes to tell you that. A big chunker will tell you 8 hours of their day in 1 second. So that was a piece of information that you may or may not have missed or caught and may or may not have understood. Now he just brought up that 93% of our communication is nonverbal. So science has proven that words, which are really all we understand how to communicate, that words are only 7% communication. The other 93% is wrapped up in our physiology and our tonality. So it's really important to understand what platform, what scaffolding you are standing on. Because if you are standing on intensity, desperation, fear, hunger, well, that is going to get projected out to the listener. And if you need a sale and you're avoiding showing up to serve, that's going to be communicated, whether you attempt to or not. It doesn't matter what words you architect out of your mouth. So I wanted to take a few seconds or a few minutes to really share with you some of the background knowledge that Ryan is dropping in through this. So going back to that joy comment, you know, being a conservative, predictable person, dealing with this volatility of business ownership, I'm curious, where does your joy exist in the landscape realm in owning a business?
Stacey, I love working with people. And what I get the opportunity of doing is, I get to deliver artwork to clients. Nice. And it's very, it's very tangible. And it is very fulfilling, not only for me, for my crew. I have a wonderful crew of some Mexican-American guys, some American guys, and just to see their joy in what we do and building these projects for people, it just really makes it all worthwhile. And it just makes that connection with us to our clients so much more real. And it just, it snowballs into more and more referrals. Our referral rate is just crazy. We don't even have signs on our trucks. I think I spent $9 on advertising on Facebook by clicking on a button last year. And we are just blessed with more than we know what to do with. And it's all referral based. And it's all, not only what they're getting, we're delivering an exceptional product. It's also how they're treated, how I interact. And a lot of it is how my guys interact with them. They just feel so respected and valued. And it's just a beautiful thing to me.
Did you build your business on the pretense that referral marketing was going to be your strategy to obtain new clients? Or did it just kind of happen out that way?
It just kind of happened. I didn't really have a strategy. I'm only 2 years into this, barely.
Yeah.
And to be quite transparent, there's a lot of things I am still figuring out, and I'm just trying to be okay with it. And, as you know, the world of COVID has really brought a lot of struggles and blessings to businesses, and the landscape industry and pool construction industry is exploding because of it. So our timing was kind of impeccable with starting the business. And we know whenever this slows down, if it slows down, we know we'll have a lot of momentum going forward. So, I'm very aware of that moving forward, and hope, I know it will continue. I know that's what will continue building our business.
So I want you guys to hear what Ryan just said. The guest profile of our show is successful 6- and 7-figure business owners. And we do that so that through the conversation, we can extract golden nuggets so that you guys can, leave listening and really learn something, and then apply to yourself, your life, your business, your relationships with your clients, or wherever you choose to drop those golden nuggets. And he just said that he's new to this. He's 2 years into this. And Ryan has already built a very thriving 6-figure business 2 years into this, not knowing what he doesn't know. He's still learning a lot of things and navigating the road of business ownership and entrepreneurism. So much so to the point, let's talk about the flip side, because growing pains are serious in scaling a business, right? And you've had some significant growing pains that are good, because revenue's coming in, you're very good at relationships with clients, and it's bad because, let's face it, we both know you're a perfectionist. And because you're, well, I'm going to lovingly say a reforming perfectionist. How's that? So we both know that you're the hardest person on yourself in the entire equation. So looking at this growth, albeit painful, let's talk about some of the painful experiences that you're going through and some of the learnings that you're extracting.
Sure. I truly believe, all of the mistakes and all of the problems, hurdles, obstacles, while they take a lot of energy, it's very important to me to own all of them. I want to acknowledge when they happen. And for me, ownership is the number one thing. You talk about it being feedback, that's feedback. That is feedback to me. And I know I make mistakes. And if I am true to myself and take that mistake, instead of projecting it onto somebody else, which is, let's face it, it's real easy to do, right? I want to grow from that, and I will grow from that. And, there's a lot of things to figure out with us moving forward. Our growth rate, like you said, it's pretty explosive. We're growing just very fast. And I'm very lucky. And there's a lot of, there's some ugliness to it. And it's all good. The minute you stop and, we all beat ourselves up over the mistakes. However, it's going to heal. That mistake's going to heal, and that mistake is going to make you stronger, and it's going to make you a better business person, owner, teammate, leader in the future.
Nice. So I want to address something that you've said multiple times. You keep saying that you're very lucky. Ryan, one of the things that I learned a long time ago is the more I sweat, the luckier I seem to get, right? You have done an immense amount of work on over-delivering, satisfying customers, building relationships, serving needs. You've gone above and beyond in what client expectations are versus what you choose to deliver. You have worked very hard to earn referrals. I've been in sales for, this is going to show my age, almost 30 years. And through 30 years of sales, one of the things that I learned was, when you do one thing wrong, 10 people will know about it in less than 10 seconds. When you do 10 things right, it takes hours and hours for one person to know about it. When you look at Yelp, a dissatisfied person hops on Yelp, they hop on Google, and they just blast negative vomit all over the place. When a business goes above and beyond, it takes days for someone to sit down and really architect that high-end testimonial, if they even do it. So the fact that you're getting word of mouth referrals tells us how hard you work to earn them and that you deserve them. So for our listeners out there, success doesn't happen by luck. Success happens by fortitude, stickability, determination, focus, over delivering. It happens by sweat equity. So I stick right towards the learning I got a long time ago. The more I sweat, the luckier I get. So I say that to say, it could have been timing. Absolutely. Timing could have been part of it. You were in the right place at the right time. And how many landscapers are around you? And how many did you know that closed during COVID? So that wasn't the only factor, right? It had to do with you and how you showed up. And we both know you've done a lot of work between the muscle between your ears, right? You've done a lot of work in understanding yourself, understanding others, learning how to communicate, learning how to work with the Itty Bitty Shitty Committee, working through some imprint stuff that has shown up in your life, positive and negative. You've done a lot of work from the perspective of really growing your business, baptism by fire, right? I mean, sure. It's grown so fast that, working with a coach, you are chasing the growth right now, and will eventually get to a point where you are architecting the growth. However, that cart got off the horse and is going downhill, and the horse is chasing it right now. And that's not always a bad thing, right? Teenagers know what growing pains is. Business owners know what growing pains is. So knowing your growth and knowing that it could be luck and it could also be sweat. What advice can you give to someone who's just starting out, or someone who isn't making it yet?
Sure, that's a great question. And kind of to ping off I love the Itty Bitty Shitty Committee term. I like to kind of analyze the saying, trust your gut. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Trust your gut is just thrown around so casually. I feel like we've diluted it so much. And I know for me, trust your gut. I always ask myself, what does that mean? I know it always leads me to the right decision. It always leads me down the right path. However, that gut, that voice to me is really a very quiet whisper in my head. And it's never the billboard in front of your face driving down the highway that you think it's going to be. Oh, there's my gut telling me to go this way.
Right.
Oh, there's my gut. Oh, do this. It's never there. Well, I'd love to meet somebody that has that, because It would be amazing. However, it's always there. It's always there. It's always talking to you. It's always within you. And only I know where to go. And only I know how to listen to that. And only I know how to tune myself into that. And that goes back to a good, answering your question again about how did you, delve into this? And I just started getting very real and intimate with that voice, my gut. It never lets me down. And it's an exercise and it's a discipline to do that with yourself, for me. And I think we all have that within us, and we all know inside of us where we should go, what we should do. And I truly believe we all have the tools within us. Everything we need is within us. And as soon as we get in tune with those things and tools and thoughts, things start to blossom, things start to bloom, and things start to grow. And my journey, when I started, we do, I hesitate to say high-end landscaping. We do high detail landscape. It's very different. Our projects are very unique. Most people know my projects. They look at them and they say, I know that's your work, and this is ego hat off. I'm not trying to say my landscapes are better. My landscapes are unique and they're usually pretty recognizable. And I had people in my, little landscape collegium when I started that landscaped for years. And really, their advice to me was no one's going to buy what you want. People want $5,000 landscape projects out where we live, and no one's going to buy what you want. And, those comments are real lessons for you, because we learn, those comments have nothing to do with me. It's just a projection of what they think and all they know and the tools they're using. And I got many of those comments from people. Even somebody in my family who I truly adore said, their advice to me was, well, when you're done kind of playing around with this landscape, you're going to end up back in a corporate office. You know that, right? And I now know that those are the things that I have to see and acknowledge and assess if they are appropriate for me in my path, or if it's just that's a representation of somebody else's path. Because I know what that little voice is telling me, and I know I need to listen to it, and that's what's going to bring me back to filling up the joy cup. And that's the number one thing I'm after.
I love that. So you said we all have success within us, and I remember the day I met you, and I've had the blessing to watch you evolve through the past couple of years. How has training, how has investing in yourself, how has doing the work helped you in your business and in your life?
Training, like mindset training?
Whatever, any type of personal and professional development.
So I've never taken any personal development courses in my life. It was a accidental connection, a totally random connection that I met somebody else in NLP, which led me to you.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought that you were a professional junkie or professional development junkie. That's funny.
No. And it was the first thing I took, was getting involved with NLP. And I loved it. And it was something I'd never done. It was so outside my comfort zone. And I just said, I'm just going to trust myself here. My gut, that little inner voice is just saying, just do it, just do it. And it has been incredible. I love live training courses. I mean, they're the top of my list. I love live interactive training. I love personal development books. I'm a big reader now. And I also love, my journey with developing my business and my landscape design philosophies. I have no horticulture degree. I have no training at all. I just taught myself, and I still do. And, I would encourage anybody who has a dream and has a goal, go after whatever that, if a degree is going to make you do the thing that's going to bring you the joy, get the degree. If getting your mind set correct is going to help propel you forward, which you and I know is a huge catalyst, go do it. I mean, it's amazing. Or if self-study or self-discovery or networking, I do a ton of networking like you, go do it. I mean, you'll be shocked at the people I reach out to that I really admire in my industry, that I think are just amazing. People local, people out of the country, people I just send a message to on Instagram, and I'm like, holy moly, I'm talking to this person, they're talking to me, and it's like, that to me is all education worthwhile and stuff that just really gets me more excited about what I'm doing and gives me the tools to move forward.
Nice. So coaching, I guess I'm going to get a rude awakening then, because I really thought that you had invested in yourself a lot before I had met you. So for coaching, what has coaching done for you and your business?
Coaching is, so for me, coaching has helped me. Right now, I kind of have a tornado going of so many things and ideas and systems not in place. And coaching has really helped me in a couple different avenues. Hone some processes of what I need to get things running smoother. And also, I think coaching, I know, has made a huge difference on, just my mindset, how I process and get through my days. There can be a lot of chaos. There can be a lot of pivoting. There can be a lot of many problems to work through. And those things, because of coaching, because of a lot of training I've done with you and others, has really helped me stay calm, stay focused, and, keep going forward and not let the itty bitty shitty committee just host meetings in your head all day.
Well, success is 90% mindset, 10% skill set, so yeah, that itty bitty shitty committee can really put someone into analysis paralysis or stagnation or procrastination. That self-doubt can become overwhelming. I mean, you yourself said you borrowed your wife's belief, right? Because she had more belief than you. We have to believe in ourselves more than anybody, because when we're standing in front of a prospective client, they need to borrow that belief that we're standing in integrity and that we're there to serve them and versus sell them, right? So you brought up networking. How has networking helped your business?
I love talking to people. I'm one of those people, I love networking. And I will be honest with you, I dipped my toe in networking, and I really had to get out because I just had too much coming at me right now. And in the future, I will do, I'm not in a formal networking group right now. I did a little bit for a while. And to me, that's one of the most fun things about my job. I just love talking to people. I love meeting people. I love chit chatting. I love learning people's stories. And, it's just a great way connecting with people. And just, what was the thing I heard a few weeks ago? The best way to get contacts from somebody is to give contacts. I think the more you can connect people and be of service and show who you really are, it all comes back to you tenfold. I know that. I've seen it. And, I think it's a beautiful thing, building a network with like-minded people
Yeah, I agree.
Having a support system is just a really cool experience. And we've talked about this a little bit. I've really edited, even becoming an entrepreneur, it's a really spiritual journey that a lot of things you don't see coming.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I have found I've really changed and edited a lot of relationships. I was a people pleaser before. I had to be everybody's friend and well liked by everybody. And, had to feel like everybody, was my friend, and I was always around people. I didn't want to miss out. And really, I've totally changed that mindset in the last year or two, where going back to networking, now I feel a much stronger desire to be around like-minded people, growth-minded people. It's just more fun, and it just fits where I'm at. And I know it's going to allow me to move forward,
Yeah.
more and more.
Well, I learned a long time ago, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. And, we are the sum average of the 5 people we invest the most time with. So we have a choice. You either spend time with people or invest time with people. And I really love to be around people who search for more, seek more, serve more, want more, because life is about growth. And that word more that I'm using, it's not materialistically. It's the joy, like you spoke. It's success. And for me, success isn't a monetary definition. Success is about being well harmonized in every area: love, happiness, health, yeah, career and financial, but family and friends, and I can go on and on. For me, it's really thriving in every area. And if I'm with people who don't look at life that way, then how motivated am I to do that? Right.
Sure.
So welcome to the signature question of the show. And the signature question of the show, Ryan, is, what does selling without selling mean to you?
Well, I know it's been said a lot. I think servitude is just, it's massive to me. It's the goal that I seek with my clients. When I was at the interim landscape company, one of their salesperson said to me, the sale is the kill. And I just remember really being taken aback by that comment, and just kind of analyzing that, like, wow, I can't relate to that. I don't understand what that means. That doesn't resonate within me. It doesn't exist within me. I've never felt like that. To me, the sale, the green light to move forward, is an invitation for me to build a relationship with a client. And that's what is my ultimate goal. I look at my business as, we are relationship builders, and my client's secondary benefit is they're going to get pretty plants or a pool or landscaping in their yard. It's in that order, and that's it only. It's the relationship first, build the rapport, gain the respect. If it's not there, it's not for me, and I know in my heart that I'm connecting with my clients and connecting with the right clients, so we can deliver that product that they want and expect. And like you said, exceed their expectations.
I love that. Thank you. So, welcome to the random round, Ryan. So, see, I believe that success leaves clues, and I like to extract golden nuggets from our experts and have our guests pick and choose what fits for them in their life. So, your random round question is, what does your morning ritual look like?
My morning ritual, it's kind of a work in progress, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I do get up fairly early. I get up at 5:30-ish.
Mm-hmm.
No one's awake for a good hour, hour and a half. And I love to I love to read for about half hour. If I can get an hour in, I love to read. It just really sets up my day. Um, I feel like my mind is just so much clearer.
Mm-hmm.
I also love to, in the morning, I like to do a little gratitude, which now I write it down. I definitely need to write things down. I like to go through a little gratitude journal and write down things I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
I just notice, the change in my mood and the change in my calmness is instant.
Yeah.
I feel it, I see it, and it seems like such a petty little thing.
Mm-mm.
It's so important. And a little tip that you gave me, because I am an overanalyzer and I am, I'm pretty intense about my business.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I like to just think about my business and think about what I've built and just kind of sit there and acknowledge, hey, it may not be perfect. However, this is what I've built so far, and just acknowledge and be grateful for, and be present in that moment. It's just a little reflection I like to do. And then generally, that's about an hour of my day. I reserve some family time from 7 to 8. That's kind of when all the craziness and of chaos is going on in my household. And um, I keep it pretty simple. That's about my morning.
No, I love it. I love it. Thank you. So, if our listeners back up, scratch that, Seth. Okay. I have one more question for you in the random round because I loved that answer so much. How do you decompress? Because I know the kind of pressure cooker you're in. I know what your business growth is like. How do you decompress? How do you recharge?
I decompress. So to say I love landscaping is an understatement. I love landscaping.
You
I
just
love
like playing with the trucks in the dirt.
Yes. I'm a plant junkie.
Mm-hmm.
I love to garden, and I love to
Mm.
landscape. I decompress in a few different ways. If I can get 6, 7, 8 hours in my garden, um, milling around doing God knows what,
Mm-hmm.
that is when I gain clarity. I New ideas start unfolding with how I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to move forward with my business. It's
Nice.
just, as people say, oh, my best ideas come in the shower. For me, my best ideas come when I'm out digging in the soil, planting plants, experimenting,
Mm-hmm.
playing. Um, it's just fun for me. I truly enjoy it. I also love, we are, we go down to the lake quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I love going to the lake. I've got two little girls, as you know, they're 4, just turned 7. And, they're just amazing little humans to be around. And
Mm-hmm.
it's tough being a new business owner, because in reality, you know, I've worked a 20-hour day before, many of them.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's it's possible every day to do that right now in my life. However, at 4:30, 4:45, when there's pitter patter of those little feet coming home,
Yep.
It's time for me to be present with them. And
Nice.
I have to be very aware that that's important. That's very important.
You don't have to, you get to. And that's a phenomenal realization. I love that answer. Thank you for sharing that. So, Ryan, it's been incredible talking with you. It's been a great conversation. I appreciate you coming on the show. And before we head out, what would be the best way for our listeners to connect with you, to find you if they wanted to?
It's been great. Thanks for having me. I had such a great time. Love chatting with you today. The best way to connect with us would be we have a huge Facebook presence. It's Ryan Ballheimer Landscape Design on Facebook. My email and phone number is on there. And we also have a new website, ryanballheimerlandscapedesign.com. So we'd love to hear from you, or feel free to go on and follow us, and hopefully you gain a little inspiration from our work.
Your success is important to me, and it's also important to me to make sure that these episodes are valuable to you. I would love for you to do a few things right now. I'd love for you to hop over to Instagram and follow us at Pivot Point Advantage. That's hop over to Instagram and follow us at Pivot Point Advantage. Second, I'd love it if you'd head over to Facebook and join our Sell Without Selling community. That's head over to Facebook and join our Sell Without Selling community. We have an immense amount of interaction on both platforms. We also share different information on both platforms, so we look forward to seeing you there. Last and definitely not least, I love to chat with you, give feedback on the episodes, and find out any topics that you're interested in to help make this podcast more powerful and helpful to you achieving the success you've always dreamed of, desired, and deserved. Head over to pivotpointadvantage.com/talk to Stacey. That's pivotpointadvantage.com/talk to Stacey. Let's get a 15-minute call on the schedule. I look forward to getting to know you. Always remember this: choice is a powerful thing, and suffering is always optional. Get out of your way so that you can get on your way, so you can finally have your way. Thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Whether it's mastering your mindset, communication, or success, we have more ways to keep you on your journey to greatness. Be sure to visit us at pivotpointadvantage.com for exclusive online training programs, success-specific courses, and more ways to connect to Stacey directly to help you achieve the financial success you've always desired, dreamed, and deserved. That's all available on pivotpointadvantage.com.